Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Monica Villalobos, and I serve as President and CEO of your Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to welcome all of you to our 12th annual Business Diversity Summit, brought to you by the Arizona Business Development Agency Center, operated by our very own chamber. This year, your AZHCC celebrates its 75th anniversary, and more than 25 of those years operating the MBDA. Additionally, MBDA National in Washington, D.C. is commemorating the 40th Minority Enterprise Development Week, so we are recognizing lots of milestones today. We'd like to thank SRP for their efforts and support in this year's summit, and thank Social Television Network for having us all here again with you today. They keep letting us back in the door, so we'll keep coming back at you. We are also quite fortunate to have great community partners with which we collaborate. Of course, among them are our Los Amigos partners, corporate investors who support us all year long to bring resources and tools to help minority-owned businesses grow and prosper in Arizona, just like the ones we are celebrating today. If you've attended this event in the past, you know this event brings together a wide range of business leaders and professionals committed to diversity in hiring, advancement, and leading the way in providing goods and services to many of Arizona's largest companies. Our goal has always been to encourage diversity and continue to grow our economy, one business at a time. And we thank you all for watching, and for those present for coming and making this sort of history with us. Now I'd like to introduce to you the Executive Director of the Arizona MBDA Business Center, my colleague and friend, Alika Kumar, front and center with her leadership over 18 years to make our center one of the most successful in the nation. Since the late 90s, we've operated the Arizona MBDA Business Center, funded by the U.S. Department of Commerce. We're measured primarily on three things: access to contracts, access to financing, and job creation. Despite the pandemic, this center exceeded its goals, delivering over $100 million in contracts and financing and creating or retaining 1,000 jobs. Before I hand it over to Alika, I'd like to thank her for all of her years of service. Thank you and your team. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Monica. Thank you very much for your kind words. It is your forward thinking and inclusive leadership that inspires the team to rise and thrive. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to get on board with the heart of economic empowerment. Back in September 2021, Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo, in her remarks at the annual National Minority Enterprise Development Midweek conference hosted by the Minority Business Development Agency, MBDA, declared that the driving force behind American economy lies within the unyielding spirit of the business and minority business enterprises, MBEs. The road to America's recovery runs straight through the nation's minority business community. While systemic and structural barriers have created significant racial inequalities, the stories are changing, albeit slowly. Imagine this: a staggering 9.7 million minority business enterprises empowering 8 million workers and infusing $1.7 trillion into the tapestry of the American economy. The economic impact of MBEs is simply undeniable. Now brace yourself. The cost of the opportunity gap that separates MBEs from their non-MBE counterparts looms at an astounding $6.4 trillion. It is projected that although the population of minorities will exceed that of non-minorities by 2024, the GDP contributions of employer minorities will not catch up until 2059. Picture bridging this gap today. Envision 12.2 million turbocharged minority-owned firms, 31 million employees, and an additional $8.18 trillion surging through the economy. That's an increase of nearly 59%. At the Arizona MBDA Business Center, it's not just about business consulting. It's about custom-crafted growth strategies. For MBEs, intensive training and workshops. We are matchmakers enabling impactful connections between MBEs, industry giants, and governmental agencies. Hold tight. because this year the spirit of celebration transcends boundaries. The Arizona MBDA Business Center is radiating its energy across the entire state. This year, to celebrate and expand awareness of the economic impact of MBEs in Arizona, we have requested an Arizona statewide proclamation igniting a groundbreaking call to organizations across Arizona to stand shoulder to shoulder and honor the resilience of minority business enterprises. Changing outcomes requires purposeful, intentional, and meaningful shifts in policies and practices, laying the groundwork for a more equitable future. But there is more. The spotlight today gleams on those who invest and transform million-dollar aspirations into reality. We applaud and honor businesses and corporations with Tier 1 spending that ranged from $1 million a year to an astonishing $223 million in 1 year. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not merely an event. It's a collective effort that includes notes of empowerment, opportunity, and celebration of the power of unity. Let us applaud the heroes fueling America's businesses and stride boldly into a future with boundless possibilities. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce to you just such a hero today, the fearless lead of the Minority Business Development Agency, the first ever Undersecretary, Mr. Donald R. Cravens, Jr. Mr. Donald Cravens serves as the first Undersecretary of Commerce for Minority Business Development Agency, where he leads the Minority Business Development Agency in its service to the nation's 9.7 million minority business enterprises. After more than 52 years in existence, in 2021, President Biden signed the Minority Business Development Act of 2021, making MBDA a permanent agency, and it's the newest federal agency. Under Secretary Cravens was unanimously confirmed by the Senate on August 4, 2022. Mr. Cravens is very accomplished. You can learn more about him by clicking on the link in his bio in the chat box. Please join me as we listen to remarks from Undersecretary Donald Cravens.
Hi, everyone. I'm Don Cravens, Jr., Undersecretary of the Minority Business Development Agency in the U.S. Department of Commerce. I want to thank the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce for inviting me to speak with you all today at this year's Business Diversity Summit. For those of you who don't know, Monica Villalobos and her team at the Chamber operate the Minority Business Development Agency's Phoenix MBDA Business Center. This is one of 131 MBDA business centers and programs that provide technical assistance and business support services to the nation's minority and underserved businesses. Through our agency, the Arizona Hispanic Chamber has built on their 75 years of invaluable work, opening opportunities for communities. Today, I'm excited to announce the Chamber has been selected to expand on their partnership with MBDA through our historic new initiative, the Capital Readiness Program. The Capital Readiness Program is a $125 million technical assistance program, and it has a bold mission to give every American a real shot at becoming a successful entrepreneur. Earlier this month, Vice President Harris and I announced the 43 winners of the Capital Readiness Program funding competition. This funding will be used to launch business incubators and accelerators designed for underserved entrepreneurs. These incubators and accelerators will provide technical assistance and support services to entrepreneurs throughout the country and is designed to prepare minority and other underserved entrepreneurs to secure the capital from the $10 billion State Small Business Credit Initiative, also known as SSBCI. The State Small Business Credit Initiative provides a combined nearly $10 billion to empower small businesses to access capital by providing states and territories funding for credit and investment programs for existing small businesses and startups, and technical assistance to small businesses applying for SSBCI funding and other government small business programs. Arizona will receive nearly $111 million to administer 5 programs as part of the SSBCI. Now, we all know there are thousands of eager entrepreneurs throughout the state putting in the hard work to start or build their business. But the reality is that many of them don't have the access to the capital or the opportunities necessary to achieve their potential. That's just not what this country is about, folks. Americans want to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. It's in our DNA. But for so long, many have not had the boots, and they've just not had the straps. These businesses want a hand up, not a handout. That's why I'm so excited to announce today that one of the organizations we have selected to launch a capital readiness program, incubator, accelerator, is the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. MBDA has recommended that the chamber receive about $3 million in capital readiness funding to launch an enhanced business accelerator and incubator program to get underserved entrepreneurs in Arizona, Nevada, and California capital ready. This includes technical assistance, financial advisement, and anything they can do to best position their clients to receive funding from CDFIs, government programs, and other private sector partners. The Arizona Hispanic Chamber has been a fixture in the Southwest for 75 years. They have an invaluable network they'll tap into to continue helping entrepreneurs with capital access opportunities. That includes connecting small businesses with their partners at the World Bank to help secure assistance on projects focused on renewable energy and information technology infrastructure. In developing the Capital Readiness Program, we knew it was vital. It would be critical for us to find organizations that understand the needs and challenges facing underserved entrepreneurs across different regions and different communities. There is no one-size-fits-all approach to business support. A challenge facing a Hispanic business owned in downtown Phoenix may not be the same challenge facing a rural entrepreneur in Georgia. We need to know how to serve all individual entrepreneurs effectively. That is what it means to invest with equity. And that is why we selected the Arizona Hispanic Chamber. They understand the needs and the challenges of the Southwest and all of its entrepreneurs in that part of the country. And we are excited they are helping us expand our reach in order to best serve your businesses and communities. For so long, minority Americans and other Americans who have been held back have been told help is on the way, help is on the way, but more often than not, that help never seems to come. Through the Capital Readiness Program and through MBDA's entire network of business centers and programs, I'm proud to say that help is here and it's here to stay. Thank you for all your hard work in making Arizona and the entire Southwest an effective and supportive ecosystem for minority and underserved entrepreneurs to build their businesses. Please know that the MBDA and our national network is here to serve you. Enjoy the rest of this year's summit. Thank you all, and God bless.
Thank you, Undersecretary Cravens, for your inspiring remarks and the laser-focused leadership that is providing invaluable resources and direction for minority-owned businesses to realize their fullest potential and contribute to the national economy more effectively. The Arizona MBDA Business Center's Minority Enterprise Awards celebrate the outstanding achievements of minority entrepreneurs that have demonstrated their commitment to excellence and business growth. Today, you will meet outstanding minority businesses that have developed and implemented innovative solutions and the ability to thrive through challenges. The Arizona MBDA Business Center's 2023 Minority Construction Firm of the Year award goes to a company that has achieved outstanding success in private and public construction projects and has exhibited revenue and job growth over a sustained period of time. We are pleased to give this award to Oscar Estrada, President of Primavera Grading and Paving, LLC. The center helped this company become SBE and DBE certified. Primavera has been very engaged with the center and leveraged our services to grow his company and said that in his words, our involvement with the Arizona MBDA has been nothing but an amazing experience. I'm so glad we have this organization as a resource and an advocate for Primavera Grading and Paving and other companies like us. Thank you, Oscar. We appreciate you. Let's take a closer look.
Oscar Estrada, Primavera Grading and Paving, and I'm the owner. When we started with 2 people, and right now we employ about 40 employees. We've been growing pretty good, so going from a $50,000 company to, I think this year we're going to gross out about $10 million. It's quite a bit of competition, challenges. A lot of people are coming out and going a lot cheaper, and us, we're more towards we do the best job we can, and that's where we gain our momentum on our growing. The community, all city of Phoenix, and we've been helping out We got car aid in the schools that I went to, that I graduated from, helping them out, to other little things that we're able to donate. So on the environmental side, we're trying to be real safe on that. You know, a lot of people, where you go out and doing asphalt especially and doing paving, you gotta be real careful on the materials, use other products that do not mess with the environment. Where it started off with my father, that he started, got me going into this, and me taking it from there, and still with the help of him and my employees and a lot of mentors I've had during the way, to where we come right now and where we're gonna go, that each employee is excited of what we can become. So everybody that's in the company right now and people are coming in, that's one of the biggest things, that they're excited. They see what progress and what we can do and what we can accomplish with what we have right now.
Primavera Grading and Paving, and Oscar Estrada. Our next award, Arizona MBDA Business Center's 2023 Minority Emerging Technology and Industries Firm of the Year, goes to Fernando Vigil from the Industrial Solar Consulting. ISC, we congratulate ISC for achieving outstanding success in a high-growth industry, and through utilization and delivery of services based on new technologies. ISC has been a client of the center for over 10 years. Fernando states that without the MBDA, it would have been more difficult to find the right partners, especially those who are also interested in benefiting other minorities and communities. Getting in front of contracting officers and decision makers within the federal government would have been a real struggle if it weren't for the MBDA Center's hardworking team. Fernando has been expanding first responder networks and remote communications. He was recently awarded a large master services agreement from PG&E to provide standalone power systems, and was designated as a top solar contractor by Solar Power magazine. Here's Fernando Vigil in his own words.
My name is Fernando Vigil. I'm with Industrial Solar Consulting. We're a provider of renewable energy systems to critical infrastructure. We work remotely around the world, and we provide power for customers that are off-grid, that aren't connected to the electrical grid. We got started consulting with the Department of Defense. We provided solar power to surveillance systems that watched over forward operating bases. So when I started, well, for the first few years, it was just myself. And I had an office. I could touch both walls with my hands. What we're most proud of is how we implement workforce development. So, for example, we have over 300 homes on the Navajo Nation that we provided power to. We installed those, but we did that with local labor. A lot of our customers have been told that they're gonna get power 50 years ago, and those lines aren't coming. And the sad thing is, like, unless systems like ours are out there, they're gonna have to run a generator. They're gonna have to maintain that generator, they have to truck in fuel, and they're gonna have to pollute their environment. So we have over 500 installations that we've deployed over 13 years. Those installations offset about 2,400 tons of carbon. The main thing is we wanna stoke change in renewable energy. We want to get people aware of how solar can affect people in rural neighborhoods, how we can electrify these rural neighborhoods. But we want to provide the tools for the youth to be able to come back to their own communities and improve the well-being of everybody around them.
Congratulations on the fabulous work, and congratulations to Industrial Solar Consulting. This year, the Arizona MBDA Business Center celebrates its collaboration and partnership with the Quechan tribe, Indian tribe, and in particular, two specific individuals who work tirelessly to ensure that the tribal entrepreneurs have the resources to build a sustainable and thriving business. It is with immense pleasure we award the Champions of Minority Business Development Awards to two Advocates of the Year this year. This award recognizes individuals or an organization that has demonstrated significant accomplishment in advocating for minority business enterprises as an economic force in the global economy, and we could not have found two more dedicated individuals to recognize today. Our first Advocate of the Year is Brian Golding Sr., a member of the Quechan tribe of the Fort Yuma Indian Reservation, who has 25 years of experience assisting Native American tribal government organizations and people. Brian serves his tribe as its Director of Economic Development, administering agricultural and commercial leasing, entrepreneurship, enterprise attraction, business permitting, transportation, transport management programs, and infrastructure facilities development. He works with diverse partners to restore, maintain, and enhance 380 acres comprising the Yuma East wetlands along the Colorado River. Please join me as we listen to Mr. Brian Golding.
Brian Golding, Senior Director of the Quetzal Economic Development Administration. A major challenge that we've worked to overcome addresses the lack of lease-ready spaces and places on the reservation for our business owners to operate from. My team and I at the Quetzal EDA created spaces and places where they could conduct business activity. From our initial contact with the Arizona MBDA, we've just been welcomed and embraced. From consistent and meaningful communication and engagement, and really start to identify some of the ways that MBDA can help some of those tribal business owners who are, getting ready to take that next step and really engage in the global marketplace. We really start to see more private commercial activity occurring on the reservation. So I'm really proud of the fact that, we've been able to show our tribal member business owners that we're committed to helping them grow, and I'm looking forward to continuing to meet those challenges and generate the kinds of results we're seeing.
Congratulations, Mr. Brian Golding. Our second advocate is Alan Pruitt, EDA specialist and experienced economic development specialist driving growth and prosperity for the Quetzal Indian tribe community by building thriving private sector on Fort Yuma Indian Reservation. He is with the Quetzal Indian tribe. His expertise spans BIA, that's business incubation management, process improvement, strategic planning, project management, team leadership, and NLP and generative AI technologies. Let's meet Alan.
Alan Pruitt. I'm an economic development specialist with the Economic Development Administration at the Quetzal Indian tribe of the Fort Yuma Indian Reservation. Well, I can describe my accomplishments in two areas. One is human capital and the other is financial capital. The first one was the investment Indian Business Incubator Program, which made a sizable investment in 10 tribes across the United States. The Quetzal Indian tribe is the only one in California that was selected. My primary issue I champion is financial literacy. The other area is creating generational wealth. And the third area I advocate for is creating a thriving private sector on the reservation. I've been very fortunate to work with the Arizona Business Center of the MBDA for the past year, and they are way out in front in addressing key challenges that minority business enterprises face. One of our Native entrepreneurs was selected by the SBA Regional Office as the 2023 Rural Business of the Year for Southern California. We've also had 8A entrepreneurs. This is a category of businesses that have federal contracting opportunities that have been able to thrive on the reservation. And we've also engaged with high-level state agencies that see our efforts on the reservation as having impact. And I'm very excited to see that they're seeking out our advice and assistance in helping achieving goals in those three areas.
Congratulations, Alan. It's a pleasure to work with you. For our final and surprise award, I am thrilled to announce Yvette Uriondo, Senior Business Consultant, as the recipient of the Above and Beyond Excellence Award. Yvette's unwavering dedication, professionalism, and thoughtful approach to client care have set a shining example. As a business consultant, she embodies thoroughness and camaraderie, making her not just a team member, but a cherished friend. I don't know what I would do without her. Yvette, congratulations on this recognition. You deserve it. On behalf of all at the Arizona MBDA Business Center and the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, congratulations to the exceptional companies recognized today and to our honorees who have achieved remarkable success in playing a pivotal role in advancing minority business enterprises as a formidable economic powerhouse on the global stage. Your dedication is truly inspiring. And now it is time to recognize the corporations and businesses that invest in minority and women-owned businesses. It is my pleasure to introduce Karen Lynn Graves. She proudly serves as the Executive Director of the American Indian, Alaskan Native, and Native Hawaiian Project, NBEDC. Karen also serves as a grant and technical writer for our Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. She has served the public and private sectors for over 25 years, leveraging her expertise in business development, entrepreneurship, effective communications, and dynamic technical writing. I give it up to Karen to shine the light on the 2023 Arizona $1 Million Circle of Excellence and this year's inductees. Karen, take it away.
Thank you so much, Alika, to you and your team, and congratulations to all of the MBDA awardees. You just heard about the $1 Million Circle of Excellence, but allow me to expound a little bit more on this initiative. These companies have been exemplary business models and community supporters, spending more than $1 million in 1 year with diverse suppliers here in Arizona. Today, we would like to recognize 22 companies who will be inducted into this year's Arizona $1 Million Circle of Excellence. This initiative is modeled after the national best practice called $1 Billion Roundtable. The $1 Billion Roundtable was created to recognize and celebrate corporations that achieve spending of at least $1 billion with minority and women-owned business suppliers. With our $1 Million Circle of Excellence program, our threshold is a little bit lower, but the effort of these companies is exactly the definition of commitment to diversity. Let me explain why. It's critical that companies track their diverse spend. It allows us to better understand the inequities, the inequalities, and then correct them. And it provides insight and resources for diverse businesses, allowing them to scale and create jobs. As we officially recognize our companies today, we ask that if your company or a company that you know has $1 million or more spend with diverse businesses in Arizona, please let us know. We want to ensure you are recognized for the contributions and the work that you do. And now we would like to recognize our 2023 inductees, starting with Ames Construction. Ames Construction is a full-service, heavy civil and industrial general contractor. Next, we have the Arizona Department of Transportation, ADOT. They are responsible for planning, building, and operating our complex highway systems at a statewide level. Next, we have APS, an organization committed to creating sustainable energy future for here in Arizona. Arizona State University, a learning institution entrusted by millions of people and businesses to create the next generation of leaders and next generation of businesses. The City of Phoenix Aviation Department. The Phoenix Aviation Department owns and operates 3 airports, including the largest one here in Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport, renowned as America's friendliest airport. Next, we have the City of Tempe. The City of Tempe is an organization that is committed to diversity and strengthening our diverse communities. Next, Cox Communications. They are the largest private broadband provider in the United States and invest in people, communities, and our network. Next, we have DAP Construction. They are a designer-led design-build group and performs construction project scheduling, coordination of subcontractors, vendor and design consultants, and they're also a service-disabled veteran-owned company. DP Electric. For more than 30 years, they have served as one of Arizona's most diverse and skilled contractors in Arizona with more than 400 qualified electricians statewide. Freeport-McMoRan. The company is the world's largest producer of molybdenum and operates the world's largest gold mine. Honeywell International. They invent and manufacture technologies to address tough challenges linked to global macro trends such as safety, security, and energy. They are also one of our most prominent semiconductor companies here in Arizona. Intel. They create world-changing technology that improves the life of every person on the planet. J. Benecke Construction. They offer heavy highway, civil construction, and they're a company with an emphasis on paving, excavating, remodels, grading, wet utilities, and concrete. Layton Construction. As a construction firm licensed to build nationwide, they regard themselves as an unwavering partner and top commercial builder. McCarthy Construction. They are a general contracting firm specializing in commercial construction with an extensive background in office, fit-out, and renovation work. Ryan Companies, U.S. As a national leader in commercial real estate services, They are also leading experts in architecture and engineering services. Salt River Project. SRP is a community-based organization providing affordable water and power to more than 2 million people in central Arizona. Southwest Gas. Southwest Gas is dedicated to investing in sustainable and responsible business practices that protect the environment, preserve natural resources, and safeguard our customers and employees. SUNT. They specialize in self-performing core scopes of work throughout the construction process. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is an engineering formation of the United States Army that has 3 primary missions: engineering, military construction, and civil works, all used to energize our economy and reduce disaster risk. W.L. Gore and Associates. They're a materials science company, as well as an engineering and manufacturing firm dedicated to transforming industries and improving lives. And Walmart, one of the world's biggest retailers among the world's largest corporations, with more than 125 stores here in Arizona. On behalf of our chamber and our Arizona business communities, we are thankful for the support and contributions to the advancements and procurement opportunities. And again, we offer our congratulations to all the inductees. Thank you again, and thank you to everyone who's joining us today. And Monica, back to you on stage.
Thank you so much, Karen. Allow me to offer my best wishes to all of our awardees and inductees. As you can see, we are vested in your success, and we're in the business of your business. They are the best examples of all that business can accomplish in our state. Speaking of which, I have a very special guest with us today, the new director of the State Office for Economic Opportunity and one of the highest ranking Latinos in Governor Hobbs' administration, very diverse administration, Carlos Contreras. Thank you for joining us, Director Contreras. Welcome to the conversation.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely. As the new director of the Office of Economic Opportunity, what does your role entail and how will you work with the governor? But before we get to that, tell us a little bit more about you. How did you get to this point in your career?
Yeah, it's a interesting story. A lot of your members probably have similar paths. I grew up in a border town in Nogales. I attended the University of Arizona, got an engineering degree. My first job was at McDonald's, the McDonald's that are at the border, $3.15 an hour, and then I worked for Circle K and got all these amazing opportunities along the way thanks to education. And now part of my job includes how do we open up opportunities for workers in our state.
Yeah, you just aged us. You realize that. $3.15 an hour from minimum wage. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. So you just aged us, but we're not going to tell anyone. Your background at, say, Intel and other corporate roles prepare you for this new position, and what does this new position entail?
Yeah, so I think one thing that I really value is skill development and progression in terms of how people go through job to job to job, right? And so part of our role or scope in this agency is to make the governor's vision of an Arizona for everyone accessible to as many people as we can. And that for our agency is workforce programs. And so having programs that reach populations with opportunities that they may not have for upskilling. And a couple of examples of that are we just did a Build It initiative around construction in terms of we want to double the number of apprentices in the state within 3 years. Registered apprentices, like opening up doors and doing pre-apprenticeship programs for students to get into those types of programs. And so we're always looking for opportunities like that where we're opening up the doors for these amazing careers that are coming to Arizona because of all the economic growth and the wonderful work that our Commerce Authority has done in terms of bringing business to Arizona.
And so I always say that's a great problem to have for about 10 seconds, right?
That's right.
Too many jobs. And I think in your role, you're really going to be pivotal in helping us fill those roles and also prepare the next generation for not just today's jobs, but tomorrow's jobs, right?
That's right.
I was recently on a call with Congressman Gallego, and he asked me the question, what is the impact of Title 42 in business? And I think a better question is, what isn't the impact, right? It is a domino effect. When you have something like Title 42 that will decrease the workforce or make a workforce less available, suddenly if you look at any industry, whether it's construction or telecom or whatnot, you're going to have a shortage there. If we follow through with construction, that's going to lead to decreased home building. That's going to lead to homelessness. That's going to lead to more poverty. So it's sort of this domino effect of what happens and how it's all interrelated. So I, for one, am really glad that you're at the forefront of being able to help us solve that problem.
Yeah, I think what you're pointing out is how important good paying jobs are for our state.
Right.
And so the focus for our work is around how do we create accessibility to that. An example of that is semiconductors in the state is booming. We've been funding a program with the city of Phoenix through Maricopa County that it's a semiconductor boot camp, which is really designed to get people interested in becoming technicians, which is an entry-level job. And the target population has been folks that might not necessarily know about semiconductors, they don't have a family member, and so very hard for them to connect to the industry. This has been a very successful program in terms of getting the talent, the diverse talent that these companies are looking for, and giving those opportunities for these students to consider a career in something they may not have thought about in terms of them belonging there.
Right, and you're almost creating kind of these family disruptors, right? In one generation, you can change the course of a family simply by a particular vocation, a particular education opportunity, etc. What is that role with education that you're playing? Because I imagine that we need to be able to talk to students much earlier on in their academic career, right? And you're seeing the future, you're seeing what they need to prepare for. How is that interaction between your work in workforce and education?
I think it's a great question, and education is a lifelong endeavor. People change careers all the time. They get new skills all the time, and with students, like starting them in middle school outreach programs, I know a lot of people do that in terms of opening up some opportunities or some possibilities. But we also have to have a flexible education system where, let's say, a certificate or a trade translates to college credit or community college credit that can then transfer to a bachelor's degree, because people are going to need that flexibility and that ability to go between different systems seamlessly and have their trajectory kind of count towards whether it's a bachelor's degree or a master's degree.
Right, right. Now, I think that's critical, and really also understanding that that kind of a system does not preclude students from going to college. It actually encourages them, because like you, I had to go to college and work a minimum wage job, and it was tough, and there were days when I thought, why am I doing this, right? But if I had a certificate, or if I had had a vocation and a career as I was going to college, that would have been a game changer, I think, for me.
That's right. No, and I think the other side benefit for me, and probably for you too, is the skills that you learn in these jobs, like a service job at McDonald's or a service job in retail, teaches you a lot of really important, what we used to call industry soft skills, right? How to communicate with customers, how to work in teams. These are skills that you need, whether you're a CEO or whether you're an entry-level worker, that you need to develop these skills, and picking up those skills with your experiences is very, very important.
Yeah. Well, my first job was at a car wash, so I don't know how many soft skill jobs I picked up, or soft skills that I picked up, but I can detail a car like nobody's business. So at least there's that. Speaking of small businesses, what role do small and minority-owned businesses play in the state's growth? Because we're preparing for corporate jobs, right? But what about those small minority-owned businesses? What does that look like?
Yeah, well, I'm glad you asked, and I've actually, this morning I was looking at some of our data, and I know you have datos coming up.
Yes.
So maybe this might be an early preview of datos. I don't quite need glasses yet, but I'm gonna try to read these. So just 3 stats that I saw this morning around minority-owned businesses and how important they are for the state and the growth of the state. First one is the annual payroll of minority-owned employers. This is between 2017 and 2020, grew by almost 45%. Now that's 2.5 times the growth of all businesses.
That's right.
The number of minority-owned firms grew by 14%. That's 3 times the growth of normal businesses. The number of employees employed by minority-owned employers increased by 22%. That's also 3 times. So you can see the growth that's being powered by minority-owned businesses and how important that growth is going to be for our state growth. And looking at the awardees that you have today in terms of the industries that are thriving in Arizona and seeing them succeed in green jobs, construction is just fantastic.
Yeah. No, it's really critical, and we've seen the same growth. You know, all of our data tells us the same thing, that minority-owned businesses are growing 2 to 3 times faster than non-minority-owned business. In fact, we always share the stat that between 2012 and 2017, because those are pre-pandemic years, when all other businesses only grew 2%, minority-owned businesses grew 60%. Hispanic-owned businesses grew 70%, and Hispanic women-owned businesses grew 116%. Now, that's amazing because they're growing horizontally in units. But what we really want to see is that scaling in the annual revenue that you mentioned, which is also critical and has grown exponentially. So really appreciate that you're keeping an eye on that. You know what a data geek I am, and so we like to share numbers and geek out a little bit. But you know, one of the things right now, capital readiness is a major focus for the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and we recently received a $3 million federal grant to help prepare businesses for financial investment. And really it's meant because we've heard a lot about access to capital for small minority-owned businesses, but are they capital ready, right? And that's what this grant is all about. It's an incubator and an accelerator that will be operated out of the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce for all minority and small-owned businesses to help get them ready for that lending, to help make them stronger and prepare them for that lending. It's really critical. It was a huge win for Arizona. There were over 1,000 applicants to this grant, and about 2 weeks ago we received a call from Vice President Kamala Harris's office and said, come down to DC. You are one of 43 awardees out of 1,000. The only one in Arizona to receive this, and so we're really proud, and we take that responsibility really, really seriously. And we want to partner with all of the organizations that can impact this, certainly the OEO, right? And so what sort of recommendations do you have for state resources to support those efforts?
Yeah, well, first of all, congratulations on that amazing accomplishment in bringing the spotlight to Arizona. In terms of how we can support, the Undersecretary talked about access to capital. You're saying the same thing in terms of this grant and how important that is. Governor Hobbs, under her first budget, actually set aside a $5 million appropriation that OEO received for a micro-lending program, specifically targeting businesses with loans under $50,000, small businesses with less than 5 employees, because we know access to capital is very, very important. So we're going to be rolling that out with CDFI partners throughout the state. That's coming up, and we'd love to hear input in terms of how we're going to roll that out, because we really want to have that impact and contribute to the growth of these businesses, so that a couple years from now we'll be talking about 4 times the growth, maybe, or 5 times, right?
I certainly hope so. From your lips to God's ears. I think it is so critical because it's 2 parts, right? It's not just the getting ready for investment and access to capital, but it's actually having those dollars available, which haven't traditionally been available. And we saw that during the PPP loans as well, different circumstance, but what we saw is that these minority-owned businesses simply did not have the relationships with banks and with financial institutions that they needed to have. And now between this program where we can work together on the federal side to prepare them, and then on the state side to have a fund fund already earmarked. That's a game changer for Arizona, I think. And thank you so much for being a part of that and helping us kind of lead the charge in that space. That's really fantastic. What can we do to help you in your role? You're going to have some challenges, I imagine. We're coming out of the pandemic. There are lots of things changing. What we know about small and minority-owned businesses is while they're small and vulnerable, they're also nimble and agile, and they're able to pivot and really do what's necessary to grow and scale their businesses. So as you look at the landscape, what is it that we can do to help you?
No, I appreciate the question, and I think there's a couple of things that come to mind. One is we do have an Arizona Workforce Council that has industry. We have small business representatives in there, so like targeting specific industries and finding talent for industries. So I would love to talk to a roundtable of your members and hear exactly where your shortages are and how can we feed that talent pipeline for a small business as well as a large business so that they can continue to grow, right? And apprenticeship programs, like I talked about in construction, are a very effective way. It's a connection between student and employer and skill development where they're getting paid, especially if it's a registered apprenticeship that leads to a good paying job, which is really what we're trying to do. So I think that's one, and the second one is, what do you see? Like what's in the horizon, and what are the things that are gaps in terms of where you can't find talent? I really want to learn more about that. Our system can be a little bit, it's kind of all over the state, which is localized, which is great, but I also want to be able to hear if there's any trends that we can get involved with, that we can roll out big programs. Like this construction is a good example. We're looking at healthcare as another possible area for us to make an initiative. And so I'm all ears. And I'm really looking forward to hearing about from your members, but also anyone that has experience in this area.
No, thank you so much. Be careful what you ask for. We can be loud, but we will definitely provide feedback. In fact, we can start today. We've got our minority construction company of the year.
That's right.
So we could do our own little focus group here later. But thank you again so much for that. I think that feedback is absolutely critical. One of the things that we've noticed and that our research tells us, we just came out of field with a study last year of 2,000 minority-owned businesses in Arizona, Nevada, and Utah. And one of the things we found was that 51% of minority-owned businesses are family-owned. And so there's sort of this lack of succession planning. And family-owned businesses are a different animal, right? They're a very different dynamic. And sometimes we talk to the founders of these businesses and they say, we ask them, why are you doing this? Why did you start this business? And they'll say, for my children, of course, this is my legacy. And that's amazing. And they think their kids are going to take this business on and they're going to support them. And then we talk to the kids, and the kids are like, I want nothing to do with this business. And so there's some special education that needs to happen with those family-owned businesses so that they can create that sustainability and also build some generational wealth in there, right?
That's right. That's right. And I have an example like that. I had one of my first visits when I came into this job was in Tucson IDA, and Mayor Romero down there had a session, and they have a program, an outreach program specifically for Latino-owned business, Spanish-speaking businesses, and a lot of those were family-owned businesses. In fact, one of them was El Minuto Cafe, which is right at the convention center that's been in Tucson since 1918, I think, and offering the services around, how do you do budgets and financing, all the things that you all know how to do really well, but in their language, and hearing them. The appreciation that and the acknowledgement that somebody cares and is offering the service was just terrific. So I totally hear what you're saying, and I saw it firsthand. And kudos to the folks in Tucson for putting that on, because that was just a fantastic program that that
Oh,
exists.
that's incredible. That sounds really good. It's very encouraging too, because we know as parents, when you tell your kids something, they don't listen. But when a third party tells them, all of a sudden, like, oh wow, I could really do this, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But thank you so much, Carlos, for this really informative and robust discussion. I appreciate the importance of your work, and really, honestly, please let us know what we can do to help. And if I can just share, and if you'll allow me to just be really, really proud of
Sure.
you
Oh,
and what
thank
you're
you.
doing, what your family's done for this state, really encouraged by your success, and we want to make sure that we help you along the way.
I appreciate it. And thank you, Monica, for having me here today.
Thank you so much. I'd like to thank our in-studio guests and our online audience for your time and support today. We also invite you to keep an eye out for Datos, the State of Arizona's Hispanic Market event, held at Phoenix Symphony Hall this year in downtown on September 18th. Save the date and go to www.azhcc.com to get your tickets before they are sold out. As we conclude, please think about our future leaders. The AZHCC has a scholarship fund for Hispanic university students in Arizona. We appreciate your generosity. Please look for our donate link in your YouTube chat box. On behalf of the Arizona Hispanic Chamber, we thank you for joining us today and express our gratitude for our sponsors and Los Amigos partners. Make it a great day, and we'll see you next time.